What up, peeps? It's your boy, the ControversyKidd, back with you guys with another vid. And today, man, it's been on my mind lately, and we're gonna be talking about drinking and alcohol. Basically, alcohol consumption and marijuana consumption, right? I feel like this is an important lesson, especially to those who are going in the faith of God and Jesus Christ, man. And this is gonna be like basically something you should do a little FYI on. You know what I'm saying? And let your friends know. Let people that you know that you're not gonna do this thing called, drinking a lot and actually smoking weed. Because one of the things that the Bible says is, you have to keep your mind sober. The verse is gonna be here as usual, but that's literally what it says. And to sum this all up, man, if you're dealing with someone who is, doing either one of those things, you must, as an individual, have to tell them that, I'm not down with the drinking stuff. I'ma refuse to go out and drink with you guys. Or you can just simply just not go. Or if you're in situations where you can afford to drink, where it's an option to drink, and that person around you still drinks, then that person is disrespecting you. Because why? Because we like to sit here and say, well, it's a free will, And remember, I told you guys, when you're dating a woman, that woman is a reflection of you. So if you don't drink and she drinks, 9 times out of 10, you have a small chance. There's a small spirit that tells you, hey, I don't mind drinking myself. That's just what it is. If people gonna sit here and deny it all day, but it just is what it is. For example, I don't have those problems whenever I deal with some women, because of the simple fact that I know for a fact, I look at their moral compass, I look at their moral background, I check them out, I see what their head is about, I see what their mental state, I see where they're at when it comes to those things. Now, most people are going to compromise on stuff like that. But the thing is about compromising is that sometimes when you compromise on stuff like drugs and alcohol, that stuff can turn to extreme. And that's just is what it is. And I tell you guys, if you're allowing yourself or your partner to put poison inside of their body to not only ruin their mind, but to also ruin their body as well, then that means that you don't necessarily care about your partner and you don't necessarily care about yourself as well. Because somewhat of a small spirit is telling you, you want that stuff, especially marijuana. There's a lot of people that tell, a lot of people that's gonna argue, controversy. There's nothing wrong with marijuana. Why would God put that on this earth? Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Can we do the backstory of marijuana for a second? I want you guys to point out one verse that literally says God gave you the permission to smoke marijuana. Give me one verse, and I'll say, you know what? It's okay for you to smoke marijuana. If you can't point that out to me, don't do it, please. Because I know the verse y'all gonna go to, well, you know, the things that God put on this earth, you can't discriminate, da da da. Stop it. Stop it. Again, it goes back to the verse. Your mind should be sober. When you smoke weed, your mind is not sober. You're allowing something else called who? Satan's devil or Satan's spirit to take over your mind. It's a hallucinator. You understand that if we go back in times, what the Haitians used it for? They used it during a voodoo, whenever they was doing their little rituals. During their voodoo rituals, they would do things like, you know, weed and other hallucinators to basically activate the spirit world. Do you see why the hippies took off with marijuana? You see what those people was doing in the 60s. So you explain to me how that stuff is good for you and your mental. Then you guys sit there and argue, hey, you know, marijuana helps me to think and stuff like that. Okay, let me point out this scenario, all right? A realistic scenario. Say for instance, like you have a test coming up, right? You have this test that's coming up. And you're so used to smoking marijuana that it helps you think. Now, here's the thing about this, right? Let's just say your dealer has no marijuana, or you can't get in contact with your marijuana dealer or your marijuana friend or whatever. So basically you are SOL. You are stuff out of luck. And now you have to take this test. You're, guess what? Going to be in panic mode. You're not going to be the same way as you was with the weed. You're going to be different without it. So that means you have to depend on something, which causes an addiction. Hello. So, again, marijuana doesn't help you think, doesn't make you smarter. It's an hallucinator that makes you believe that it helps you think, but it doesn't help you think. So, you can miss me with that. And if you don't think that marijuana has people addicted, there's people to the point where the only way they can eat is smoking marijuana. The only way they can go to sleep is smoking marijuana. That's not a good thing. Even with pills. Some of you guys gonna say, well, what about melatonin? That's still, you could be addicted to the melatonin, because guess what? If you are so used to taking the melatonin to help you go to sleep, what else are you going to do to help you go to sleep? You know what else you can do? You can start practicing healthy habits. You can start getting into things that's basically not going to self-destruct your body. You can get into things that are basically going to not only benefit for you, but also benefit for the people that are surrounding you. So when I tell you guys exactly about marijuana and drinking, bro, you gotta understand that this stuff is important. Same thing with alcohol. A lot of people gonna sit there and say, well, alcohol helps me drink. Alcohol helps me to drive better and stuff like that. And you know there's a lot of accidents and a lot of hit and runs due to drunk drivers. So let's not do that. Then you guys sit there and say, well, if I gotta get buzzed, I gotta be crazy and stuff like that, just have a good time. That means for yourself as a normal human being that you don't know how to have fun. You're literally like the party pooper. In other words, you gotta have something in your system that you have to depend on to make you turn up. So, again, the arguments for marijuana, the arguments for drinking has been destroyed if you are for these things. But here's what I would do, and here's what I would encourage you to do. What I would encourage you to do is actually break away from these bad habits so you can practice good habits, just so, like I said, you can not only, promote this to your family, but you also promote this, healthy living to your friends. And there are also health complications when it comes to marijuana and weed. And alcohol. So again, just take a step back and actually look at this pretty much more deeper. And I guarantee you're going to start thinking a little more differently. Trust and believe me on that. Alright? It's your boy, the Controversy Kid, signing out. Peace. What up, peeps? It's your boy. I hope I can answer everything that came to like alcoholism and, you know, drugs and the use of drugs, because a lot of the time, man, like I said, man, in the video before, in the other clip, I've seen the worst that has happened to people. I've seen what drugs can do to people. I've seen what it can do not only to just individuals alone, but also to groups and also to, you know, friendships and marriages and relationships. It could turn a whole relationship to a disaster. It could turn a marriage into the disaster. It could turn, you know, the things that we honor, that we respect, the things that are traditional, it could turn them into, you know, the ways of the world. And I don't want nobody being turned astray, especially when there's alcohol being presented. You know what I'm saying? Because now, once you put in the alcohol in your system, you're no longer, you know, God's child, man. You're basically like Satan's baby, as I like to refer. Satan's babies. But the thing is, break away from this. If you're going through something in life, go to counseling. You know, I always encourage people to go through counseling, especially go through counseling within the church. You know, if you think counseling is going to be too expensive, stuff like that, go to a church. Go to a Christian church. They're the ones that can basically, you know, help you out with your problem. Don't go to them lukewarm churches now. Do not go to those lukewarms, because they're going to sell you the dream, tell you, oh, prosperity. You know, they're going to tell you all that crap. Go to a one that's basically going to teach you scriptures. As a matter of fact, I dropped some right here as I continue to talk. But the thing is, I don't want none of you guys being led astray, because I've seen, again, like I said, I've seen the worst that it has come to people. I've seen it with my own parents when they consume a lot of alcohol, when they consume a lot of, not saying that they did drugs. They never did drugs. Or at least I don't know. But all I know is whenever they was drinking alcohol, they wasn't themselves. And they knew for a fact that they had to have a limit, especially a strict limit, because they had children to raise. So I tell you guys right now, like I told you guys about the story before about my uncle. You know, the fact that this man could not have kids, could not start his own family, could not go out on his own and experience this thing called life, it's just unbelievable, man. All because he was trying to get, you know, some weed on the low, and somebody did not tell him that they put something else along with the strand of marijuana that he had in, and now he can't function like a normal human being. And this is where a lot of you have to take in consideration and be serious about this, because if you're not taking this seriously, man, and I'm sorry, then everything else is going to be the downfall for you. You let alcohol consume your life, you think, you know, here's my thing about this, right? You can go out for a drink, but do not consume the maximum amount, you know, that it is to get you drunk or to get you, you know, intoxicated and stuff like that. What I'm telling you right now is you have to be considerate for your own safety and for the other person's safety. If you're going out for drinks, please drink at a moderate rate. Do not overconsume it. Don't do none of this stuff, man. And instead of just going out for drinks at a bar, go to a barista, you know, go to one of these coffee shops, man. There's nothing wrong drinking coffee. There's nothing wrong drinking boba. There is nothing wrong, you know, going for, you know, a Sonic drink or something, a slushy, something, man. Like, think of something, a daiquiri, something, man. You know what I'm saying? But don't overdo it, man. Don't overdo it. Don't be the guy that's trying to get super drunk and trying to show off, because it's not a turn on for women, and it definitely isn't a turn on for men. Now, for those strange men and women out there, maybe a turn on for them, but for the sane human being that is a man and a woman, sees somebody else that is drunk, knows for a fact that it is not anything cute, it's not anything good. As a matter of fact, it is basically something bad. So, like I said, save your household before you try to do any of these things. That's all I'll let you guys know. It's your boy, the kid. Share this video with someone if you know. Sign out. Peace.